Now, I saw a number of people say, or seem maybe to imply, that because Hassan Piker has criticized Israel in the past, that he is some kind of ally of ours. People are saying that because he has criticized Netanyahu and the war in Gaza and Israel at some point in time, that this investigation into him was brought down by the Jews.
So Nick Fuentes just dropped fire on why America First patriots need to stop falling for fake unity with leftist streamers like Hassan Piker. This cuts to the heart of a massive trap, thinking shared criticism of Israel makes someone an ally when they'd celebrate our destruction. Let's break down why this solidarity is suicide.
It was brought down by the Zionists and the Trump administration, and that's why we have to be sympathetic. So, for example, I saw Sneeko and I saw a number of other people say, well, even though we don't like Hassan Piker, and even though he doesn't like us, and even though he's an ideological enemy, they say we should not cheer on his persecution because it sets a precedent. They say this is dystopian, this sets a precedent, that if we allow the Trump administration to crack down on Hassan Piker, then they will do the same to other Israel-critical voices. And so there's this sense of camaraderie. There's a sense of unity. We're all in it together. He's Israel-critical. He's under an attack. He's under attack. And so it's something like an attack on one is, in theory, on a long enough timeline, an attack on all of us. Further, people say that even though he's a left-wing streamer, they say in reality, whether you criticize Israel from the right or whether you criticize Israel from the left, this is an artificial divide. It's a fake spectrum. It's a horseshoe. Whereas we think we are on two sides, opposite sides of a right and left spectrum, in reality, we are on the same side of a vertical spectrum. So on a horizontal spectrum, we might be all the way over here on the right, and he might be all the way over there on the left. There's another dimension that on a vertical spectrum of being against Israel and supporting Israel, we are on the same wavelength. We are on the same quadrant or side of that axis. These are some of the things that people are saying. I would like to address this idea in general, because to me, this is the biggest and most relevant idea when it comes to Hassan Piker and the persecution against him. I would like to point out for everybody watching right now, by the way, that the precedent has already been set for all of this. You want to talk about censorship, debanking, hate speech legislation, weaponization of the DOJ. You think going after Hassan Piker sets the precedent? This is the precedent. This has been the precedent. By the way, this has been the precedent for decades. And who set the precedent? Because I seem to recall that it is and always has been the far left that has been advocating for far-right anti-Semites, critics of Israel, fascists, National Socialists to be debanked, censored, jailed, the rest of it.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has a $692 million endowment specifically to destroy the dissident right. They've systematically deplatformed, sued, and bankrupted nationalist organizations for decades. These same people now demanding we defend Hassan built the entire infrastructure of political persecution.
Look at the experience of me and this show. Think about Hassan Piker for a moment. He is on Twitch right now. Twitch is owned by Amazon. He's on Twitter with a verified account. He's on Instagram with a verified account. He is on TikTok. He is on YouTube. He is on Spotify. He is on all these services. He has made millions of dollars over the years. He has never, as far as I know, up until this point, been subpoenaed. He's never lost access to a big tech platform or a big tech service like PayPal or Stripe or Uber. Never lost access to the social platforms like YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. In the meantime, Literally everybody on the right has had all of that happen to them. And I know because I'm one of them. When right-wing people went to Charlottesville and said Jews will not replace us, and there was a variety of people in attendance. There were immigration restrictionists and National Socialists. There were neo-Confederates and white identitarians. There were paleocons. There were people that were there because they were concerned about the Robert E. Lee Monument. You know what happened to those people? Those people were doxxed. They were harassed at their homes. Their families were harassed at their homes. They lost their jobs. They lost their Twitter accounts. They lost their bank accounts. They were charged 5 years later under the Biden administration, under the Ku Klux Klan statute in Virginia. The groups that organized it were sued by the far left SPLC. So let me ask you this. When all those far right people that went to that rally, when the government was being weaponized against them, when the big tech billionaires were cracking down on them, when the far left activist organizations with $700 million in offshore bank accounts in the Caribbean islands, when they were suing those people, where was Cenk Uygur? Where was Hassan Piker? Where was the far left? Where was this ecumenical far left, far right unity back then? Did Hassan Piker pick up the phone and call his DSA allies at Right Wing Watch and SPLC and tell them it's all one struggle against Israel? When the Biden administration brought the KKK statutes against people 5 years after the fact, did Hassan pick up the phone and call his Democrat allies, or go in public and criticize the Biden administration and say, we need to let these people go? Not only did the far left not advocate on our behalf, they were actually leading the charge to get us destroyed the entire time, repeatedly, for years. I remember the only time I was ever on a Twitch stream with Hassan Piker, it was April 2019. I did a debate. It was me and Carl Benjamin against him and Destiny. About a week after that debate, I lost my Twitch account forever. Now, bear in mind, if I was on Twitch for the past 10 years and I was fully monetized, I would probably be 5 times as famous, 10 times as rich. My life would have been far easier. I lost my Twitch account permanently 1 week after that debate because him and his co-partners' fans mass reported me. And when I got banned, did they go out and stick up for me and say, hey, this guy should really be reinstated? He's in the struggle against Israel. Did they go out on their platform and say, I may not agree with him, but he should have a Twitch account? No, just the opposite. They actually got me banned. They celebrated the banning, and then they extolled that as a useful strategy to suppress the far right.
This is exactly what happened to so many groypers. We extend good faith, they stab us in the back. The left mass reported Nick off Twitch right after debating him, costing him millions in potential revenue. They don't want dialogue. They want our complete elimination.
Now, these are only a couple of examples that I have firsthand knowledge of, but this, by the way, has happened with everybody and anybody. People that you like, people that you don't like, people that I like, people that I don't like. Whatever happened to the great anti-Israel activist Andrew Anglin? Well, the SPLC chased him out of the country. The Daily Stormer was one of only, I think, 3 or 4 websites ever banned from Cloudflare. He literally cannot return to the United States because the SPLC has chosen a plaintiff to sue him for everything he has. Father is being harassed and stalked by these people, and recently he had to shut down his business because he makes no money. He can only collect donations through Monero and other privacy coins. What about David Duke? Same story. Whatever happened to the rightstuff.biz? Whatever happened to Mike Enoch and Eric Stryker? These are people, by the way, that I don't even like. These are people that I feuded with on the far right. These are all people that over the past 10 years have been utterly destroyed by the billionaire class, by the Israel lobby, by Jewish groups like the ADL. All of this was visited upon them, with the far left literally leading the charge as the activists, collecting their anti-Semitic statements, running them up the flagpole, doing research and creating quantitative data about these people so that they would be permanently suppressed forever. Now think about what's happening under the Trump administration. For the first time in history, you have an ostensibly right-wing administration that is pushing back against the far left, pushing back against Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, against the SPLC, against Antifa, against people like Hassan Piker, against some of the progressive elements in the Ivy League universities. And by the way, these people are getting a small taste, okay? They are getting a sample of what we have been going through. And by we, I mean the Groypers, I mean the far right, I mean anybody right-wing that's criticized Jews or Israel going back decades. They are getting a small taste, a small sample of that. And what now do we hear from the so-called right wing? They throw their arms up and they say, what about the precedent? They say, we may not like Hassan, but we don't agree with the government coming down on him. We may not like what they're saying, but we really need to defend their right to speak. And I'm sorry, why are we doing this? What is the point of this? Why would we now advocate on behalf of people that have literally been trying to get us killed? They would be indifferent if we died. On some level, they have directly or indirectly contributed to assassination attempts against us. And now we're advocating for some kind of both sides equivocation. They should have their civil rights. They should be free from harassment. I don't see how that benefits us. I don't see how that benefits anybody. And this is why I said a few weeks ago, one of the only good things the Trump administration can do and should do is crush the far left. Go after them, go after their donors, go and look into BLM. Who was funding all of these bail funds? Who was funding all of these defense attorneys that got all these people off during the summer of love? Go after the SPLC. Go after the ADL. Who do you think runs the ADL? And before you say Jews, it was an Obama administration alum, Jonathan Greenblatt, that runs the ADL. Go after those people. Go after their funding. Go after their professionals. Go after their networks. Go after their foot soldiers. And by the way, who exactly does it help to keep these people in business? What was Hassan Piker doing in January? Was he warning about the war in Iran? Is he an activist against the war in Iran? Or was he out there in little Somalia in Minneapolis, dressed up like Mao Zedong, LARPing as a revolutionary, advocating for Somalis who fucking steal from us to be protected from investigation by the DOJ? Him and his comrades were out there attacking ICE agents, preventing them from deporting people. You have him and his backers bailing these people out of prison. What about this is helping the Israel critical cause? I'm sorry, I'm missing the point here. And here is the larger picture about all of this. I want to make this very clear. The slogan on this shirt is America First. The name of this show is America First. This movement is called America First. It isn't called Israel Last. It isn't called anti-Israel no matter what. It's called America First. What does America First mean? As it pertains to Jews and Israel, it means we have identified that Jews are an extremely organized, extremely rich, powerful, race-loyal group And if given the privilege of power and legitimacy and authority, they will abuse it to benefit themselves at the expense of Americans. That is our beef. That's our problem. I don't hate Jews. I don't hate all Jews. I'm not out to get Jews. My ideology is America first. I believe that if you live in America and you make money in America and you have power, decision-making power over Americans, your sole and overriding interest must be the well-being of America and Americans. Well, in case you haven't noticed, Jewish billionaires, Jewish lobbying groups, Jewish activists, they don't do that. They have an enormous amount of power and influence in the media, in banking, in politics. They contribute hundreds of millions of dollars to campaigns. They have huge platforms in political media. And they have platforms in other ways too. People like Dave Portnoy or people like Ari Emanuel have immense power in the entertainment industry. And time and again, they abuse their influence and their power, which is a privilege, to put the interests of Israel or of Jews as a group over what is best for Americans.
This is why America First ideology is so crucial. It's not blind hatred. It's prioritizing American interests over foreign lobbies. When Jewish billionaires consistently use their media and financial power to advance Israel's agenda over America's, that's the problem we're addressing.
That's our problem. But by the way, do you know who else does this? Anybody that is pro-immigrant, which is the entire far left. You have a Jewish mayor in Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. He let BLM destroy that city. And by the way, so did the Democrat governor there. They let Somalis commit fraud and steal taxpayer money that they were sending as remittances to their clan in Somalia. That's not putting America first either. If you are letting black people destroy your city because they're mad about racism, if you are letting Somalis steal taxpayer money to pay for Lamborghinis and real estate projects in Mogadishu, that's not America first either. And yet, many people that criticize Israel for every other reason, they love the pro-BLM, pro-immigration cause. They are not America first. They are our enemies. So I don't care how anti-Israel Hassan Piker is. I don't care at all, because he is in Minneapolis making sure that Somali refugees can steal money from Americans. That's not America first. He is in Minneapolis making sure that BLM can get away with burning down the city and abolishing the police so that white people, or really any other American citizen, can't ride on public transit safely. That's not America first either. And this goes well above and beyond a difference of opinion. It's not like you have your opinion on the third world rape of America, and I have my opinion. You're in favor of it, I'm against it. They will use violence to further their objectives. Hassan Piker is a far-left ideologue. He thinks that if you believe that non-white immigration is incompatible with America, he believes you are a racist. He believes you are a Nazi. What do far-left people want to do with Nazis? They want to kill them. At the minimum, maybe they won't do the dirty work themselves. They will mobilize people to kill you, and then they will celebrate. Charlie Kirk was not even far-right. Charlie Kirk was some capitalist, basic bitch, conservative Trump supporter. He got shot in the face by who knows. Some people believe it was Israel. Some people believe it was a far left lone gunman. It's outside the scope of this conversation. Charlie Kirk was murdered. He wasn't even far right. He was not a racist. He was not a bad guy even. He was a mild-mannered, basic conservative. Hassan Piker and all these other left-wing Israel critics, they all celebrated and made light of it because they said, well, Charlie Kirk was a racist Nazi, so he deserved to die for spreading his poison. So it's not even enough that Hassan Piker and his comrades and allies will deploy to LA to make sure that no illegal immigrants get deported. It's not enough that they'll deploy to Minneapolis to make sure that Somalis can scam you out of money or black people can abolish the police. If you get in their way in any meaningful sense, they will sign your death warrant. They will send people to your house to try to kill you. They will get you fired from your job. If you say the N-word, if you say an untoward remark about black people, if in any way you indicate that you're problematic about gays and trannies, minorities, women, whatever, they say you're a Nazi, we're going to get you on tape, we're going to get you fired from your job, and if you get too influential, well, we will just try to get you murdered. And you think that we need to be advocating for these people? These people are on our side? We got to be looking out for them when they get hit by the Trump administration because of the precedent? There is no leg to stand on with these people. They hate us. And let's just take it to the final point, which is maybe the most important thing. Why is Hassan Piker against Israel? Him and all the other left-wing ilk, they are not against Israel for any reason other than they perceive Israel as a national socialist state. Period, bottom line, end of story, and that is in all of their rhetoric. They have no problem with Judaism as such. They have no problem with Jewish identity as such, or the Jewish oligarchy, or any of this. They have a problem with what they perceive to be as a right-wing strain of hyper-nationalist Zionist ideology. They are mad that Israel is trying to annex Gaza and indigenous people are being pushed around by a lighter-skinned colonial power. That is how the left perceives this issue. But they will not talk about Jews. They will not talk about Jewry. They will not talk about the Talmud. They are not interested in those conversations. Any of them, whether it's Haz al-Din, whether it's Hassan Piker, whether it's Destiny, whether it's Naomi Campbell, whether it's any of these people, they will all maintain this has nothing to do with Jews or them as a group or a Jewish oligarchy. They view all of that as a form of racism or racialism. To them, the problem is ideological. They see Israel as being captured by right-wing nationalists, and that poses this incidental problem over there. But it's not specific to Jews or their religion or their history or their identity or their ideology. And the scope of the problem has nothing to do with the global Jewish community, their transnational influence, or any of that. And what this means, to arrive at my point, is that if you do believe any of those things, they also consider you to be the enemy. If I go out there and say the problem is we have a Jewish oligarchy, the United States must put itself first, we need to assert a distinct identity as a European Christian nation contra these ideological interlopers that want to impose liberalism or communism or some kind of ideology that only enshrines their power further, they will call me a genuine anti-Semite. They will say that I am a genuine Nazi. That's genuine Nazi ideology, genuine anti-Semitism. And further, they will say that because of what that is, I should be silenced, censored. That constitutes hate speech. I should be debanked, deplatformed, all the rest of it. And the point is, these people are never going to cross the aisle and join arms with us. They are never going to link up and combine forces for some kind of third candidate that's going to put Israel in our place. That is never going to happen. And I've basically been saying this the entire year. I said this at the beginning of the year. I think I said this all throughout last year. Make no mistake about it. That whole left-wing socialist ideology It is not anything that is compatible with America first and nationalism and what we are trying to do over here. So I look at this problem in the country right now, which it should just be said, there is actually a problem of left-wing violence. These people are being radicalized and mobilized against the right wing. Charlie Kirk was shot at and left-wingers celebrated. That healthcare CEO was gunned down and everybody celebrated. The Palisades fire was set by some eat-the-rich left-wing populist. All of this is going on, and it is being egged on by people like that. I think this is one of the legitimate uses of government power, that you go after those people that are encouraging their audience to go out and commit acts of violence, that are radicalizing their audience against their fellow citizens. So I've been an advocate all year that, yes, the Trump administration, forget even about what is happening in Iran, forget about what is happening in Cuba, any of these other things that are related to Hassan Piker, go after him because he is a visible, recognizable symbol of the kind of people that got Charlie Kirk murdered 9 months ago. So I think this doesn't go far enough. They threw a subpoena at him. He's going to have to produce some documents. They may depose him. They may haul him before Congress. And don't get me wrong, he's quaking in his boots because it's very disturbing when the government is coming after you. But they are not going nearly far enough. These people on the far left need to understand there are consequences for this kind of stuff. And this is the last thing that I'll say about it. There is theoretically, there is a contingent of people that would not identify as far left, but arguably they are left of center or left-wing coded or something like that. There are a lot of people out there, they're not necessarily right-wing ideologues. Maybe they're not even ideological. And maybe they're generally liberal, have a generally liberal demeanor, or even a libertarian demeanor. I think there are a lot of normal people out there, and they do want to see less crime on the subway, and they want to see less graffiti, and maybe they don't want to smell weed as much anymore, and maybe they think OnlyFans is out of control, and maybe there's too many illegals, and they have a problem with what's happening in the Middle East. And I believe that we can reach those people. Those are people that we can probably get on our side if we offer a platform that is Christian, that is pro-family, that is right of center, generally in favor of public order, putting America first, solving this country's problems, creating prosperity. These are people that we can bring to our side. And I don't want to alienate everybody and anybody that votes Democrat or is Democrat or would even identify as left wing. But the progressive DSA, far left, these are not the same people. That is a different crowd. These are militant, fanatical ideologues, and they do understand and recognize on some level what we represent, which is we want a right-wing regime, and they will kill to stop that from happening. People like Hassan Piker, they have correctly identified that, yes, we are in favor of a far more right-wing regime. We are in favor of bringing a sense of order back to the country. And they would literally kill us to prevent that from happening. They're not going to join shoulders with us and say, well, we're going to elect a right-wing guy. Well, it's better than the alternative. No, they would rather us die than for that to happen. And they are willing and have been shown able to use violence to achieve those goals. And those people, there can be no quarter for them. Those people we are in an open conflict with. And I said the same exact thing after Charlie Kirk died. If you go back and watch my show from September of 2025, I said the same exact thing. I said, you want a right-left coalition? You want to bring liberal people into it? I said, fine. Let's have a consensus that we don't use violence. Let's have a consensus that our biggest adversary is the foreign lobbies, these foreign interests, the billionaire oligarchs, not right and left-wing activists. But Hassan Piker is someone who has demonstrated over and over He is not a part of that consensus. He's out there telling people, if you killed Rick Scott, you would have free health care. Here's how to build an improvised explosive device to kill people. He's out there after Charlie Kirk dies, making light of it, making jokes about it as if that's okay. And he knows what he's doing. He's greenlighting the right wing for his tranny followers. He's greenlighting anybody on the right for the Discord moderators on HRT and on other drugs to go out and kill. And that should have no quarter. Fuck the far left. They are violent. They are anti-American. They are not America first in any way, and they can have no business being a part of this at all. They will never advocate for our side. They will never see us as acceptable partners. They will sooner work with the center right than they would with the far right. And they'll definitely work with the center left over anybody on the right. So anybody that's out there saying, oh, we really got to advocate on his behalf, and even on some level, joining with the Young Turks for that matter. It's a little bit too late for that. So I say, as far as the Trump administration is concerned, bring an end to the war in Iran and put Hassan Piker in prison. Disrupt